Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we will talk about the study plan for CA exams January 2026. This video is applicable for anyone who is in whatever level, foundation, inter or final, and whether you are writing one group or both groups, for everyone, this video will be applicable. And this is one of the most frequently sought topics on this channel recently. So without further delay, let's get right into the video. So this is what we are going to discuss in today's video, which is we are going to talk about three key inputs. One is the syllabus coverage, and the second segment of this video, I will be talking about some guidelines on how to approach MTP. And the third segment of this video will be some inputs on how to handle fear when you're doing problem papers, when you're practicing problem papers. So let me get to the first segment of this video, which is the syllabus coverage. I recommend that if you have already started your self-preparation, that you have completed classes and you have started your self-preparation, I recommend you to pick the first 80% of the syllabus in each and every paper. I want you to find the weightage by yourself, do some analysis and look at the past exam question paper. You choose the sample size and everything. Find the 80% of the syllabus and you are going to fix it. We have 70 days to the exam approximately. So it is high time you decide this 80% of the syllabus, because we have time constraints. We are not going to be aiming for 100% of the syllabus. Trust me, it would sound nice that if we complete 100% of the syllabus and all that will be extremely nice. But right now, if you have just started your self-preparation, do this job first. Pick the 80% of the syllabus. Or if you are in extreme, not so great state, I would even say choose the 70%. So pick the sweet spot somewhere between 70 to 80% of the syllabus. So for me, I just like the number 80. So just keep 80% of the syllabus. After you have chosen the 80% of the syllabus, what you should do next? This 80% of the syllabus, the problem papers like accounts, costing, financial management, AFM, the problem papers, you are supposed to have minimum 3 rounds of revision for these problem papers. This is the first step, minimum 3 rounds of revision. And with respect to theory papers, you would have already heard about me talking 5 rounds of revision. You're supposed to complete 5 rounds of revision. This is the second preliminary requirement. First is pick the 80% of the paper, and second is for problem papers, that 80% you have to do 3 rounds of preparation, 3 rounds of revision, and theory papers you have to do 5 rounds of revision. Okay, now the next step is, this could be the most important thing that you could be hearing from this video. Let's say you have already started from 0%. You have chosen a paper and this is 100. And let's say you have completed your 80%, right? You have already, let's say you were very proactive and you started your preparation much earlier and you completed your 80% already, first round. Now, you would be super motivated to catch up this difference, to go and conquer the extra 20%. You'd be super motivated, super inclined to do that. This could be the most obvious and natural thing for you to do. I would say curb that desire, control that. Do not go for this 20%. Do not go for this 20%. Forget about this 20% as of now, because this 80%, you have completed only one round. If you have completed only one round, and if you are dying to go this extra 20%, my job is take a U-turn and come all the way back to square one and go a second round of revision, do one more round of revision. And again, if it is a problem paper, come back again. After I've completed round 2, come back again and do another roundabout. Do 3 rounds of revision, 3 revision for problem papers. And if it is a theory paper, do 2 more rounds of it and do 5 revisions. Unless you fulfill this criterion, do not even think about this 20% of the paper. Okay, so this is the most important piece of input that I wanted to give in this video. So that concludes the first segment of this exam study plan. First is syllabus coverage. So let us go to the second segment of this video, which is some inputs on writing MTP. The date that I'm recording this is 23rd of October 2025. And most likely you would be watching this video, which is tomorrow, when I might be uploading. Most likely you could be watching this video somewhere between 23rd to, let's say, 25th of October. But irrespective of you are watching this video whenever, by 11th of November 2025, you are supposed to write MTP 1 by yourself. You are supposed to complete MTP 1, mark the date, which is 11th of November. So you have time until the 11th of November to play around with this 80% to do how many ever of rounds of internal revision. You have time till 11th of November. So this is first thing. First, let's say, first checkpoint. And second thing is, by 26th of November or 25th of November, let's keep it 26th of November 2025, you should have started writing MTP 2. So that is the second point that I want you to keep in mind. There is not much of a scientific thing. From 11th of November till the exam, there are 50 days, which is my benchmark or my standard timeline by which I should have done my first round of mock test. At least I should have a gap of 50 days between my first round of mock test and the main exam. If you write mock test 2 ahead, then you must not have completed preparation, you must not have studied that much, so you would have very less to write, and that might induce some sort of panic. And if you write the exam mock test too close to the exam, let's say 10 days or 5 days to the exam, then it is sort of meaningless, because you will get some takeaways, but you will be left with very less amount of time to make some course correction. So 50 days to the exam is like a perfect sweet spot to write the mock test. So that is the first thing. And the second mock test is like when you have 35 days to the exam, roughly 35 days to the exam. So the dates could be 11th of November and 26th of November. So that's the second segment, which is some inputs on how to write MTP. Now let us go to the third and final segment of this video, which is fear management of problem papers. See, I particularly want to address how to handle your fear when it comes to problem papers, because I've spoken enough about theory papers in this channel. I've made enough number of videos. I think even to my ready recollection, I have made almost 2 to 3 videos minimum on how to handle theory papers. So let us keep this theory segment aside as of now. Let us focus on problem papers. How to handle problem without fear. Or let's say if you are a too sensitive person, then how do you approach problem? Because I used to have this problem when I was a student, because I have very low tolerance for errors. The moment I start practicing a question where I hide the solution and I see the question, read the question, when I see an adjustment which appears to be pretty complicated, which is kind of beyond my knowledge level, I kind of paralyze right after seeing that. Therefore, I entirely avoid the process of practicing amalgamation questions or marginal costing questions. But we cannot completely avoid it, isn't it? Eventually we have to face the exam. So without practicing it, we are not going to do much in the main exam. So how to get ourselves to solve problems despite the fear? So that is what we are going to talk in this segment. The first thing is remove the necessity to do the problem without referring to the solution, which means I'm asking you to lower your standards. I'm asking you to lower your targets, at least in the early stages. So the first point here is lower down your targets. Lower the bar. Okay. So go easy on yourself. That's the first point. So what is the actual takeaway here? The actual takeaway here is pick the chapter. Pick the chapter. The method is pick the chapter first. Let us say the chapter could be, let's take a chapter in Inter. Let's say overheads from costing. Let's say you picked the chapter overheads, and now pretty voluminous chapter and it has lots of complicated adjustments. If you are too afraid to solve this chapter all by yourself, do it like an assignment. Do it like a school assignment or college assignment where the teachers will give you a work on, they will give you a certain number of problems, and in your holidays you are supposed to do them and get back to school, isn't it? So they don't care about whether you do the problem, whether you did the problem all by yourself or you refer to the solution. It doesn't matter. They just want you to have gone through the problem and they wanted you to have written the problem by yourself. That's it. So you give yourself an assignment kind of target. That's the only target that you have. So in this assignment, you are going to keep the solution open and you are going to do the problem all by yourself. Remove the ego outside. The problem with our mind is when we are asked to do the problem without referring to the solution, it gets panicked. Okay. Now I asked you to lower down the target and I asked you to see the problem, see the solution, and then just fair copy it in a notebook. Don't audit it. Just don't audit it. That's a worst strategy. Don't audit the problem. Do the problem, but see the solution and actually do the problem. Break down the problem and do step by step. Now, when I give you this suggestion, your mind will say that it doesn't look much effective. I am much above than this strategy. See, you see how your mind is fooling you. When you are asked to take up the challenge, when the challenge is pretty high, where you are not given the solution, the mind panics and it stops you from taking the action. And at the same time, when I lower down the target and I ask you to do the problem by referring to the solution, now it is, your mind is suddenly, your ego is too big or too smart to do such a process. So either way, it is making you to stop doing the work. So you just have to overcome it and just jump into the work without much of a thinking. You have to disregard your feelings before doing this process. Whether you feel great or you feel bad or your ego is making you think that you are much above this, just disregard that and get into the process. So the first thing is you have to do an assignment, but you are not simply going to do it only once. You are going to do it 3 times. That's the key takeaway here. You are going to write the problem by seeing the solution 3 times. How long is the gap in between? Are you supposed to do it back to back in the same day? No. You are going to do it, let's say today, first round, and then give 2 to 3 days gap, and then do second round, and then again give a week's time gap and do it the third round. All these 3 rounds you are going to see with the solution. 2 to 3 days gap, here a week's time, 7 days gap, 6 to 7 days gap. So you have to do these problems all by seeing the solution and do it yourself. The thing I will say is, what you can expect is, the first round when you did it, it will be like you will get to see, oh, okay, these steps are there, this step is there, okay, that working note seems a little complicated. By the time you do the second round, the same problem, you would have figured out the solution like 20 to 30 percentage of the steps by yourself. So even if the solution is pretty open, you would see the question, you will read the question. Okay, this question has 7 working notes. I already know 3 working notes. Okay, then do the working notes all by yourself. Absolutely, feel free to do it. The last 5 working notes which you still haven't gotten in your muscle memory, refer to the solution. Don't let the ego come in again. Don't panic again. It's okay. That's exactly why I asked you to lower down the standards, lower down the targets. You don't have to be an achiever in the next 70 days. You can absolutely allow yourself to fail. Okay, so having said that, when you go to the third round, you can see another 20 to 30 percentage of improvement in your speed. Maybe last time out of 8 working notes, you figured out 3 in your second round. Now when you come to the third round, out of 8 working notes, you would be probably doing 6 to 7 working notes on your own, or 5 to 6 working notes on your own. The other 2 working notes, you might still have to see the solution and do it yourself. Anyway, still you will feel the difference between the confidence level you had after first round and the confidence level you have after third round. Do it simply like an assignment. You don't have to prove it to anybody that you are capable of doing an amalgamation problem or a standard costing problem without having to refer to the solution. You don't have to prove it to anybody. For the first 3 rounds, definitely see the solution and do it yourself. The problem is, will it be the final step? Like after the third round, will you be ready for the exam? No. But you would be vastly out of the fear zone. You would be vastly out of the panic zone. The subject will no more intimidate you. That is the most important thing that we want in order to capture or conquer these problem papers. The subject will intimidate you. Let's say you are going to write FR or accounts in the first exam, and let's say you have completed only 30-40% of the exam. The very fact that on the very day of accounts exam, you would have pretty much given up on the attempt. I have had this problem on so many attempts in my inter days and final days. I would already go to the exam hall with I have kind of thrown up my hands in the air. So forget about the other 6 exams, forget about the other 7 exams. It doesn't matter after your accounts has gone for a toss. So try this strategy, do it for 3 rounds, get out of the panic zone, then again give some gap. Maybe after your third round is over, after this, let's say give yourself another gap of 7 days or 10 days, then reopen the chapter, then just see the question, hide the solution, try to work out the solution on your own. Probably that could be the time. If I had asked you to do the same thing right after first round, you might have panicked. You must have panicked. But now that you have exposure, you have very, very less chances of panicking because you have already got exposed to the same problem 3 rounds. So these are the key points that I want to cover in this video. So the first thing is quickly recall 80% of the syllabus. Pick your 80%, 70%. Go for that first. And within that 70%, if you have already covered 0 to 80%, and if you are dying to cover the next 20%, arrest that feeling. Go back to 0 again. Do the same, travel within that same 80%, finish that 80%, and make it to the level of 100% or 90% confidence level within this 80%. And then the second thing that I discussed is about MTP, which is by 11th of November, you must have started writing your MTP 1 exams. And by the latest of 26th of November, you should have started writing MTP 2. And then again, I have to add one point. If I have to add one point, self-evaluate, which I always keep talking about in every video. Self-evaluate. Write the test by yourself and evaluate it by yourself. So self-evaluate. And then the third thing is the fear management of problem papers. Do it like assignment. Do it for 3 rounds and give more gap in between each and every round. But don't give like 2 long gaps, like 15-20 days gap. Don't give that much also. Today, maybe 3 days later, round 2. And then from round 2, maybe 6 to 7 days later, round 3, you would have had that chapter covered. I hope this video was useful to you. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. And if you still have more queries related to exams, I would definitely love to know, and I would like to make a video on those queries as well. So let me know in the comment section. I will see you in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.